Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we are a spiritual resource library, so definitely subscribe, share this video with whoever needs to hear it, because today we're going over a super special topic, finding balance in your life, the difference between joy and purpose. These are huge topics, so you don't want to miss out and you don't want anybody else to miss out in your life. So continue to share. I'd be super grateful. Thank you so much. So to get into this is going to be a podcast episode. So if you want the full unedited version of this video, I will link it down below. But if you just want the tidbits of information that I'm giving, keep watching. We've been going through topics that I've been getting from you guys and hearing a lot from you guys, so that's been awesome. But this week is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that's finding balance in your life for a happier life. Now, to get started, I fucking hate that word. The idea of something being happy, I much rather fulfilled. Fulfilled is a better terminology for me. But today I'm talking about a very specific type of balance, the balance between purpose and joy. I have had over the last year a really hard time in a lot of areas of my life. And what I'm realizing is a lot of it is stemming from my either lack of purpose or lack of joy. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of thought they were the same thing, or they could be derived from the same thing. Like if you had purpose, then you could find joy in your purpose. And if you had joy, then you could find purpose in fulfilling your joy, and they kind of could intertwine. I've kind of come into knowing is that they can't. They have to be different and they have to be balanced to actually feel fulfilled in your life. Here's my example. Last year, I was a housewife, basically. I did not work. I was supposed to be starting this business, but I didn't. And I had a lot of joy in my life. I was in one of the happiest relationships of my entire life. I was super duper happy in the joy side of things, but I still was unhappy. And that's because looking back, I didn't have purpose at that time in my life. I wasn't working, I wasn't building anything. I just sat there and said, well, you know, I am happy in my life, in quotations, happy in my life right now because I have this joy. But for whatever reason, still was so not fulfilled. Like I still was lacking something huge in my life. Flip side, you know, back in September, if you guys listened to my first podcast episode, I went through one of the hardest breakup of my life. Nothing against my partner. We're actually still very close. But our breakup was extremely, extremely taxing on both of us. And so we went from having all that joy in our lives to not having that joy. And so we kind of had to rebuild joy for ourselves. Now, if you remember, I also didn't have purpose in that relationship. So not only did I not have joy, but I also didn't have purpose. And I remember being so jealous. I don't know if you guys can relate to this at all, but looking at an ex and just thinking they look so happy because they have a purpose. They are running at something, they are building something, they are okay on their own. And I was honestly, it's not that I wasn't okay on my own, but in that moment, I wasn't. I know how to be okay on my own. I was alone and single for a really long time, but that's not to say that in that moment, I was okay on my own. I wasn't. I didn't have joy and I didn't have purpose. Fast forward, I said, okay, you know what? Fuck this. I need to pour my energy into a purpose. Hence why we are sitting here today filming and recording a podcast every week, posting content every single day, running several social media channels, building a business, building a website, building products, building courses. I threw myself into my purpose and I am so glad that I did. And I thought that my joy would come from pouring into that purpose. Like I have such a beautiful purpose. Spiritual teaching is such a beautiful thing. I'm so grateful that that's something that sparks purpose and happiness and accomplishment, and it kind of fulfills my soul, but it still wasn't bringing me joy. And you know what? That confused me for a little while because I was like, if this isn't bringing me joy, then I shouldn't do it. The same way this is a total side story, but I'm an Irish dancer competitively still, have been for 22 years, and it does not spark joy. It doesn't. It is part of my purpose. It makes me happy. It makes me feel accomplished. It adds to my purpose. And when I am done dancing, I will have to add some purpose to balance that back out, but it does not spark joy. It's not, I don't go to dance class or go to the gym in the morning and that sparks joy. It makes me happy. It's part of my purpose. It drives my soul and I feel accomplished and I feel like I'm working towards something and building something. But joy I've found is passive. It is something that in witnessing it alone, it is joyful and it brings happiness. Not having to work at it at all. It just is, and the fact that it exists in the world sparks joy in your soul. Whereas a purpose, it sparks joy, but then you have to build at it to actually feel the effects of it. For instance, my relationship was joyful because that human just existing in the world is joyful to me. And a tangent for another day, now having still a friendship with that person after our relationship, after we cleared that codependency and are still clearing that codependency and learning how to build a new type of relationship without those expectations or pressures, that human existing in the world and me getting to witness them being alive is joyful to me. There are people in this world, my family, my dog, that just by existing, they are joyful to me. For instance, having my coffee in the morning is joyful to me. Nothing really has to be done. I just sip it. And it just existing in the world is joyful. That doesn't mean that I have to go out and create a coffee company, because that is not my purpose. That I don't have to act on that joy. I just have to experience it. And I have to balance it with my purpose. For a long time, I chased joy as being my purpose. Everything that sparked joy in my life, well, that needed to be my purpose. And vice versa. Everything that felt purposeful, well, it had to spark joy or else it wasn't actually for me. So it blew my mind when I came into it and I realized, wait, hold up a second. I think that they're two different fucking things. And I think I have to have both of them in my life in order to actually feel balanced and fulfilled. So I kind of came to this realization where I needed to add joy back into my life because I'm sitting here, I'm running towards my purpose. I feel more purposeful than ever. But these things that I'm working on every single day and that I'm building, they're not sparking joy. And that's okay. That's totally fine because they are adding to my life in other regards. But I need things that spark joy in my life. And so check in with yourself and see if you can feel if it's imbalanced right now for yourself. Because, hey, it's gonna happen. It happens to all of us at some point in time. Maybe you don't have either right now in your life. Maybe neither are there in your life and you have to start building. Well, pick one. Pick one that's shouting at you and run for it. Run for it. Thanks, guys.